Canadian College, Italy, and it is my pleasure to be your MC for this ceremony. We are gathered today to pay our respects to the Canadians who took part in the Italian campaign and who are buried here, and to all the Canadian service men and women who have sacrificed their lives so that we might enjoy freedom today. A special welcome to Ambassador Elissa Golberg and Mayor Castiglione, the Mayor of Ortona.
Bienvenue à tous. C'est un honneur de pouvoir vous accueillir pour cette 79e célébration commémorative. Bienvenue spéciale à toutes les autorités, attachés militaires, membres de l'ambassade canadienne et l'ambassadrice Elissa Golberg et le maire d'Ortona, Dr. Castiglione.
Benvenuti a tutte le autorità, agli addetti militari, ai membri dell'ambasciata canadese e all'ambasciatrice Elissa Golberg e al Sindaco di Ortona, il dottor Castiglione.
We also welcome Captain Boisjoli, Canadian military attaché in Rome, and a special welcome to the honorary colonel for the Canadian Rangers, Colonel John Newman.
Nous accueillons Capitaine Boisjoli, attaché militaire en Italie, et John Newman, le colonel honoraire pour les Rangers canadiens.
Un benvenuto particolare per il colonnello onorario per i Rangers canadesi, John Newman, e capitano di vascello Andrei Boisjoli, addetto alla difesa per Canada a Roma. Un benvenuto all'assessore Ranieri in rappresentanza del sindaco di Lanciano, città medaglia d'oro al valore militare, al dottor Armando Forgione, prefetto di Chieti, al tenente colonnello Adolfo Felicissimo, in rappresentanza dei carabinieri Legione Abruzzo e Molise, al colonnello Alceo Greco, comandante provinciale carabinieri Abruzzo, al dottor Nicola Labrozzi, sindaco del comune di Frisa. Si ringraziano tutte le forze dell'ordine intervenute oggi, il comando dei carabinieri Capitaneria di Porto di Ortona, il comitato locale della Croce Rossa Italiana e della Protezione Civile, tutti i veterani intervenuti a commemorare i caduti della Seconda Guerra Mondiale.
Au nom de notre école, il me fait un grand plaisir de vous souhaiter la bienvenue.
Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the playing of the national anthems. I invite Maria Chiara Papale to the microphone.
Mesdames et messieurs, les hymnes nationaux.
Signore e signori, gli inni nazionali.
festa dell'undicesimo si cinta la testa, la bella vittoria li porga la piuma che si chiama di Roma e Dio la creò. Stringiamoci a corte, siamo pronti alla morte, siamo pronti alla morte, l'Italia chiamò. Stringiamoci a corte, siamo pronti alla morte, siamo pronti alla morte, l'Italia chiamò, sì.
Yes. Hello. I invite Ambassador Golberg, the Canadian Ambassador to Rome, for a greeting on behalf of the Canadian Embassy.
Sindaco Castiglione, egregi rappresentanti della città di Ortona, Lieutenant General Kelsey, genti ospiti. In questo lungo Ortona, in questo giorno, noi ricordiamo. Nous nous souvenons des dizaines de milliers de courageux Canadiens qui se sont battus pour la démocratie, pour se délivrer du fascisme, de l'autoritarisme, de la haine et de la racisme. We remember those Canadians and the residents of Ortona who sacrificed their lives, who were injured in body or mind, so that we, their descendants, could live in a world where all people, irrespective of their culture, religion, sexual orientation, or gender, could live in dignity, free from want and free from fear. Noi che abbiamo beneficiato dei sacrifici compiuti a Ortona, dobbiamo vivere la nostra vita come fosse una promessa. Una promessa fatta non solo per insegnare ai nostri figli lezioni sulla guerra del passato, ma anche intesa come impegno a prevalere sempre e comunque contro la rabbia e l'odio che causano questa calamità. We owe a duty to persevere always in favor of justice and human rights, irrespective of the multiple obstacles that we might find in our pathway. And at a time when we again face the scourge of war on the European continent, where 7 million Ukrainians have become refugees and internally displaced people because of a war of choice, we are reminded of the significance of our shared promise, that duty that we have to the fallen and the injured of Ortona. Certes, cela peut comporter des sacrifices, des malaises matériels et autres en résulteront. Mais nous avons la responsabilité de nous opposer à l'agression et la répression, d'éviter la complaisance et d'agir toujours pour la paix. Quest'anno il Giorno della Memoria capita insieme al 75° anniversario delle relazioni diplomatiche fra Canada e Italia. Durante questi 75 anni abbiamo costruito dei paesi sicuri, prosperi, generosi, impegnati nel mondo. Dei paesi che lavorano insieme sul piano politico, economico e militare, anche con partner della Nato in Lettonia e in Iraq, per trovare soluzioni alle sfide globali. La nostra amicizia perdura, è costruita su basi solidi anche grazie ai sacrifici compiuti nel dicembre del 1943 ad Ortona. And so as we look to the future and all the potential and opportunities it holds for Canada and Italy to thrive together and to contribute to a more stable and sustainable and prosperous world, we remember the bonds that unite us. We remember the promises that were made to the fallen and the duties that we owe to nurture respect, to nurture understanding, to nurture inclusion, always within and across our societies. È una promessa solenne che rinnoviamo il nostro sacro dovere. Grazie.
Invito ora il Sindaco di Ortona, città medaglia d'oro al valore civile, dottor Leo Castiglione, a rivolgere un saluto ai presenti. Grazie, signor Sindaco.
Saluto a nome della città di Ortona l'ambasciatrice del Canada Elissa Golberg, il prefetto di Chieti Armando Forgione e le autorità civili e militari presenti per onorare Remembrance Day, la giornata che commemora i caduti militari dei paesi del Commonwealth. On behalf of the city of Ortona, I greet the ambassador of Canada Elissa Golberg, the prefect of Chieti Armando Forgione, and the civil and military authorities present to honor Remembrance Day, the day in memory of fallen soldiers from Commonwealth countries. Un giorno che lega la comunità ortonese a quella canadese per le conosciute vicende storiche della battaglia di Ortona del dicembre 1943, che questa mattina abbiamo ricordato anche con la breve cerimonia al monumento Il prezzo della pace, in piazza degli eroi canadesi, scoprendo una targa in memoria del 48esimo reggimento degli Highlanders, una delle formazioni militari inquadrate nella prima divisione di fanteria canadese che da fine novembre del 1943 affrontarono sanguinosi combattimenti per superare la linea difensiva tedesca Gustav, attestata tra i fiumi Sangro e Moro, con caposaldo proprio nella città di Ortona. A day that binds the Ortona community to the Canadian community because of the well-known historical events of the Battle of Ortona in December 1943. The battle also remembered this morning with the brief ceremony at the Prize of Peace Monument in Canadian Heroes Square, uncovering a plaque in memory of the 14th Highlanders Regiment, one of the military formation framed in the 1st Canadian Infantry Division that, from the late November 1943, faced bloody fighting to overcome the German Gustav defensive line, attested between the Sangro and the Moro rivers, with its stronghold in the city of Ortona. Un luogo che insieme a questo memoriale tra le verdi e dolci colline di San Donato vuole essere un punto fermo della memoria collettiva e condivisa delle nostre comunità, espressa efficacemente nella frase che accoglie i visitatori nella nuova piazza del centro di Ortona, voluta e realizzata dall'amministrazione ortonese per quei tanti giovani che attraversarono l'oceano per liberare il nostro paese dall'occupazione nazifascista. A place that, together with this memorial among the green and rolling hills of San Donato, is meant to be a staple of the collective and shared memory of our communities, well expressed in the phrase that welcomes visitors to the new square in the center of Ortona, decided and created by this administration for those many young men who crossed the ocean to free our country from Nazi-fascist occupation. La guerra ci ha visti vicini, la pace ci vede amici. Together in war, friends in peace. Parole che esprimono pienamente il senso di questa giornata e la proiettano in una dimensione fuori dal tempo, come l'amicizia, un sentimento antico che richiama la storia della civiltà e che affonda in un rapporto paritario costruito sulla fiducia, sull'affetto, sulla riconoscenza. Words that fully enclose the meaning of this day and drive it into a timeless dimension like that of friendship, an ancient feeling which recalls the history of civilization, built on an equal relationship of trust, affection and gratitude. Un rapporto umano universale che coinvolge l'individuo come singolo e parte di una comunità, un sentimento nobile che va oltre gli affetti familiari e che va coltivato con impegno e gratitudine, quello che le nostre comunità rinnovano e fortificano con queste iniziative per le generazioni future. a universal human relationship that involves the individual as an individual and part of a community. A noble feeling that goes beyond family affections and should be cultivated with commitment and gratitude. The same feeling that our communities renew and fortify with initiatives like these addressed to future generations. Questo giorno di commemorazione porta il simbolo di un fiore di campo, il papavero rosso, immortalato in una toccante poesia scritta dall'ufficiale canadese John McCrae per descrivere i campi insanguinati della prima guerra mondiale sul fronte delle Fiandre. The Remembrance Day bears the symbol of a wildflower, the red poppy, used in a touching poem by Canadian officer John McCrae to describe the bloody fields of the First World War on the Flanders Front. I papaveri rossi che spuntano tra le croci, fila dopo fila, recita la poesia, rappresentano la continuità della vita e della speranza che dai campi di battaglia bagnati dal fango, dal dolore e dal sacrificio rinascono in un messaggio di libertà, pace e solidarietà. The red poppies that sprout among the crosses, row after row, represent the continuity of life and hope that from the battlefields, wet with mud, from pain and sacrifice, are reborn in a message of freedom, peace and solidarity. Fiori di campo, semplici e genuini, come l'amicizia che oggi rinnoviamo nel ricordo dei 1615 militari del Commonwealth, sepolti qui al Moro River. Di questi, 1375 sono giovani canadesi che 80 anni fa giunsero su queste sponde dell'Adriatico e che insieme alle 1314 vittime civili della comunità ortonese furono travolti dalla battaglia passata alla storia come la Stalingrado d'Italia. Field flowers, simple and natural as the friendship feeling that we renew today in memory of the 1,615 Commonwealth military buried here at Moro River. 1,375 young Canadians who 80 years ago arrived on this side of the Adriatic coast and who, together with the 1,314 civilian victims of the Ortonese community, were swept away by the battle that has gone down in history as the Stalingrad of Italy. Un momento di riflessione, oggi più che mai importante perché in Europa si addensano forte i richiami alle guerre mondiali del Novecento. A moment of reflection today, more than ever important given the current situation in Europe. Quell'amicizia sorta dalla difficoltà, dalla paura e dal dolore, resa più salda dai 75 anni di relazioni diplomatiche tra Canada e Italia, che quest'anno ricordiamo, rappresenta un solido caposaldo sulla linea del progresso comune, in difesa della libertà dei popoli, dei principi democratici e della pace. That friendship, born out of difficulty, fear and pain, made stronger by the 75 years of diplomatic relations between Canada and Italy, represents a solid cornerstone on the line of common progress in defense of the people's freedom, democratic principles and peace. Thank you. Grazie.
Great.
CCI student Sophia Laverty will recite a call to remembrance.
Today is a special day of remembrance, when in our heart we ponder the significance of so many of our fellow Canadians at war. Let us also remember our heritage of a strong and free nation and the peace which has been entrusted to us. May we never allow human hostility to rob us of so precious a gift. We remember above all the Almighty and merciful God, who saves us from death and promises life eternal, to whom we commit our fallen comrades.
I would like to call upon CCI students Vuk Radunovic and Valerie Pasquini to deliver readings in English and Italian.
There is no greater lesson learned than that passed on to us by generations of military men and women who carry with them the memory of war. They have endured the harshest conditions and witnessed the worst of humanity, but hold in their hearts the faces and names of comrades lost in battle who paid the ultimate sacrifice for our freedom. They have placed their memories in our trust and passed on the torch of remembrance for us to bear. Today is a stirring tribute to the lives that were lost in battle and the highest honor for those who remain.
Non esiste lezione più grande di quella che generazioni di uomini e donne che hanno prestato il servizio nell'esercito ci hanno trasmesso con la loro esperienza. Attraverso le più dure condizioni, costoro sono stati testimoni di mostruose atrocità, riuscendo però sempre a tenere vivo nel cuore il viso e il nome dei compagni che si sono sacrificati per la nostra libertà. In questo giorno della memoria noi teniamo il più alto tributo a quelle vite perse in battaglia e l'onore più insigne a coloro che restano.
Paola Laverty will now read a section of Paul Eluard's Les 7 poèmes de l'amour en guerre.
Au nom du front frappé profonde, au nom des yeux que je regarde, et de la bouche que j'embrasse pour aujourd'hui et pour toujours. Au nom de l'amour enterré, au nom de larmes dans le noir, au nom des plaintes qui font rire, et au nom de rires qui font peur. Au nom de rire dans la rue, de la douceur qui lie nos mains. Au nom des fruits couvrant les fleurs, sur une terre belle et bonne. Au nom des hommes en prison, au nom des femmes déportées, au nom de tous nos camarades martyrisés et massacrés, pour n'avoir pas l'accepté l'ombre. Il nous faut drainer la colère et se faire lever le fer, pour se préserver l'image haute des innocents partout traqués et qui partout vont triompher.
A reading of In Flanders Field by Scarlett Eldridge.
In Flanders fields the poppies grow, between the crosses, row on row, that mark our place, and in the sky the larks, still bravely singing, fly. Scarce heard amid the guns below. We are the dead. Short days ago we lived, felt dawn, saw sunset glow, loved and were loved, and now we lie in Flanders field. Take up our quarrel with the foe, to you from failing hands we throw. The torch be yours to hold it high. If ye break faith with us who die, we shall not sleep, though poppies grow in Flanders field.
A reading of In the Moro River Cemetery by former faculty member Brian Kello, read by Samantha Wright.
In the Moro River Cemetery by Brian Kello. Now is the time for weeping among the young and the young dead. The white crosses and the red flowers and the grass over the underground stains of all the silent boys. Now is the time for weeping among the young and the young dead, for the lives not lived, for the loves not loved, for the suddenly old faces and the long past lines around the eyes of the mothers, the wives, and the fathers. Now is the time for weeping, in the place as silent as the lost laughter of the boys, in the place as still as the brooding mountain that witnessed the guns, the cries, and the white crosses, and hears only the silence of the voiceless, of the young, of the dead. Now is the time for weeping. Now is the time for weeping. I am among the weeping, the young, and the dead.
In recognition of the 12 Indigenous fallen soldiers that are buried here in this cemetery, CCI student Connor Walker will recite their names.
Willard Zachariah, 28 years old, from Prince County, Ontario, Tribu Mohawk, Hastings and Prince Edward Regiment, died November 3rd, 1943. Joseph Okamasi, 19 years old, from Muskeg Lake, Saskatchewan, Tribu Cree, Saskatoon Light Infantry, died December 7th, 1943. Lloyd Edwin Brandt, 24 years old, from Desperanto, Ontario, Tribu Mohawk, Hastings and Prince Edward Regiment, died December 14th, 1943. Peter Versailles, 32 years old, from Grand Prairie, Alberta, Tribu Métis, Royal Edmonton Regiment, died December 23rd, 1943. Gordon Yellowfly, 27 years old, from Blackfoot Reserve, Lycan, Alberta, Seaforth Highlanders of Canada, died December 27th, 1943. Albert Jardine, 24 years old, from Stellico Brand, Fraser Lake, British Columbia, Loyal Edmonton Regiment, died December 30th, 1943. Alfred Joseph McLeod, 29 years old, from Cape Crocker, Ontario, Tribu Ojibwa, Perth Regiment, died January 7th, 1944. Kenneth Brand, 23 years old, from Belleville, Ontario, Tribu Mohawk, Hastings and Prince Edward Regiment, died January 31st, 1944. Sergeant Wilburn Chubb, 34 years old, from Rosenhouse, Ontario, Tribu Alderville Band, Irish Regiment of Canada, died February 2nd, 1944. Gordon Belrose, 23 years old, from Owen Sound, Ontario, Tribu Métis, Perth Regiment, died February 5th, 1944. William Douglas St. Clair, 26 years old, from Dapunaki, Saskatchewan, Tribu Métis, Royal Canadian Dragoons Car Regiment, died April 11th, 1944. Francis Tommy, from Nanaimo Band, British Columbia, Royal Canadian Army Service Corps, died March 22nd, 1944.
The act of remembrance and commitment to remember, as read by CCI students Arlen Gilbert, Andrea Petiti, and Veronica Drummond.
They shall grow not old, as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun, and in the morning, we will remember them.
Erano giovani, come siamo giovani noi. Hanno servito la patria, dando volontariamente se stessi. A loro noi promettiamo, nella scia del tempo, di tenere alta la loro fiaccola e di non dimenticare mai. Continueremo a ricordarli.
Promesse de se souvenir. Ils étaient jeunes, jeunes comme nous. Ils ont servi, donnant généreusement d'eux-mêmes. Nous leur promettons, en dépit du temps qui passe, de porter le flambeau et de ne jamais oublier. Nous nous souviendrons d'eux.
Maria Chiara Papale will now sing Amazing Grace.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see. 'Twas grace that taught my heart to fear, and grace my first relieved. How precious did that grace appear, the hour first believed. Precious did that grace appear, the hour first believed.
Padre Denis Perrault will now lead us in prayer.
In respecting individual belief and conscience, je vous invite à prendre un moment de recueillement. C'est pour nous un moment privilégié à chaque 11 novembre to gather together as a big families. Canadian, Italian, and people of other nations. It is like an occasion for us as a big family to gather and to remember these important moments of our history. It's exactly like we do actually every year when you go home and you have these important meetings that we call actually how much we're interconnected together and how much actually our relationships are very important to work for peace and to actually values that make us actually human beings. And during one of our meetings recently with the other chaplains, we were asking the question why to join the military today. And at some point, actually, what I decided to say to my colleagues is, if I join the military, it is because we're in a world that is challenging, difficult. There's things that can happen at any moment, and if ever something happens, I want to be able to make the difference. On est dans un monde actuellement avec beaucoup d'incertitudes. Et je sais que quand on regarde l'avenir, on ne sait pas toujours, on ne peut pas prévoir les événements. Mais une chose est sûre, si nous avons décidé aujourd'hui de porter l'uniforme, c'est parce qu'on veut, peu importe ce qui arrive, être en mesure de faire la différence. And today, because we are people of different generations today, actually, veterans, people that serve, I want first of all to thank you so much actually for all the sacrifice you already made. Also serving members, that have in their body and their soul actually the scars of experience of war and deployment. J'aimerais prendre le temps de reconnaître aussi toutes les personnes qui ont donné un peu d'eux-mêmes ou même beaucoup d'eux-mêmes à travers leur service militaire. But also, there's so many young people here that are actually the leader of tomorrow. And I really want to encourage you to be fully what you are called to be. To every time that you need to study or you need actually to overcome difficult challenges, don't be afraid to go ahead and do your best. Because you are important and you can make the difference. In order for evil to prevail, we just need that men and women of good do nothing. So it is our opportunity to do something, to make a difference and to carry on what is our mission. Every one of us, we have gifts. Some are good to something and some are better to other things, but we have gifts. And it's important that we are able actually to use those gifts for a better world. So today, at the same time as we remember from the past, let's prepare our future. And may the Lord bless you all, bless your family. Amen.
Silvio Di Paolo will now play the last post, which will be followed by 2 minutes of silence. This will be followed by the rouse and the playing of the lament. We will now proceed with the wreath-laying ceremony.
Nous procédons maintenant au dépôt de germes.
Procediamo ora alla posa delle ghirlande.
I invite Ambassador Golberg to lay a wreath on behalf of the Government of Canada. I invite Mayor Leo Castiglione to lay a wreath on behalf of the town of Ortona. Deputy Commander, Allied Joint Force Command Naples, Lieutenant General Stephen Kelsey, Lieutenant Colonel Philip Wetton, and Master Warrant Officer William Griffin to lay a wreath on behalf of the Armed Forces of Canada. I invite Sandra Seagram and her daughter Eugenia Anovazzi Seagram to lay a wreath on behalf of the 48 Highlanders. I invite Honorary Lieutenant Colonel John Newman to lay a wreath on behalf of the 3rd Canadian Ranger Patrol Group. CCI students Robina Stewartson and Abigail Berg and l'assessore Daniele Di Lanciano to lay a wreath on behalf of the Comune of Lanciano and Canadian College. invite Yehor Prokhorov, George Fastovitz, Alina Liesna, and Anastasia Borovikova to lay a wreath on behalf of the people of Ukraine. We invite Dr. Giordano Righetti to lay a wreath on behalf of the Commonwealth War Graves Commission from Rome. We invite students from the Liceo Sappho of Roseto degli Abruzzi to lay a wreath on behalf of their school. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a very special invite now. We invite Tommaso Gespa, a survivor of the Battle of Ortona, to lay a wreath. We invite anyone else who would like to lay a wreath at this time. I welcome Maria Chiara Papale to the microphone once again to sing Imagine by John Lennon.
Imagine there's no heaven. It's easy if you try. No hell below us. Above us only sky. Imagine all the people imagine there's no countries. It isn't hard to do. Nothing to kill or die for. the world we live as one.
We now have a tribute to a fallen soldier, Lawrence E. Taylor. On October 13, 2022, Lawrence E. Taylor said farewell to this world. Larry was born in British Columbia on the 17th of January, 1924, and he was left to make his own way in the world at an early age. At age 17, he joined the Rocky Mountain Rangers and eventually became a Seaforth Highlander of Canada, serving in Sicily, Italy, and Holland. Larry was a proud D-Day Dodger, but he was unable to talk about his military life. He wished to forget. Eventually, he wrote his memoirs and described helping his sergeant to set up the Christmas dinner at Santa Maria di Costantinopoli and the Christmas carol played on the organ through that day of 1943 in Ortona. Rest in peace, Larry Taylor, and thank you for your service.
Ladies and gentlemen, the singing of God Save the King, which follows, will conclude our ceremony. Thank you all for your participation in honor of our fallen soldiers.
Mesdames et messieurs, merci à tous ceux qui ont participé à la cérémonie. Nous allons maintenant conclure avec le chant de God Save the King.
Signore e signori, l'inno God Save the King che segue concluderà la nostra cerimonia.
Precious King, long live our noble King. God save the King. Sending victorious, happy and glorious, long to reign o'er us. God save the King.
Thank you all.
Wake up!